Okay, welcome back to Collins Country. We are out in the shop today and it's kind of rainy and nasty, and I wanted to take this opportunity to show you guys how to take off and put back on the RK tractor backhoe. Now this is the RK55. If you don't know what RK stands for, that is Rural King. Rural King has these tractors and they are very nice. This same process can go for the TYM tractors as well. And it's very easy, and I wanted to demonstrate how you can take off the backhoe and put it back on with ease. When you are connecting and disconnecting the backhoe, it is very important to keep safety in mind. Please do not get yourself into any kind of a pinch point. There are a lot of small areas in here. Make sure all of the hydraulic pressure is released and in a safe manner before you're going in and disconnecting and messing with the backhoe. Let's talk about the design of it and how it actually is affixed to the tractor. It's actually a very clever design because they've made it so easy to take on and off. So you have this main frame down here at the bottom, and it's this framing right here, and it's attached to the backhoe. And you can see how it goes down towards the front of the tractor. And that is providing so much rigid and stability on the tractor and the backhoe itself. Now, the only two pins that are actually holding this tractor in place are right there. You can see that pin, the silver head, and you can kind of see where it goes through. Let me see if I can get this camera down underneath here. You can see the framing of the backhoe and how it connects into the back of the tractor, almost where the drawbar would sit. And you have these two pins. That's the only two pins that's keeping the backhoe from coming out. So it's clever design. You have two pins to pull, and essentially, as long as you have this leveled out properly, you should be able to pull right out from underneath of this backhoe. So we're going to go up to the front and we're going to check that out. So this is up underneath in the front, and you can see right here where you would slide in the backhoe into these slots right here. And so you can be off just a little bit and it'll actually slide right where you need it just because of the design. And that frame goes all the way down here to where the backhoe goes. So the two pins, and then here you have these spots that are being held in by the framing. And that's it. That's all that's holding that backhoe on here. We've got the two hydraulic hoses to unhook. So, but before we do that, we need to get the backhoe situated perfectly so we can pull out from the backhoe. So now for this part, you actually need the tractor on because you need to get the hydraulics flowing. You can see right here, you have a hydraulic remote and you have your two hydraulic lines feeding the actual backhoe. So the hydraulics are flowing because of the valve is in the correct position to get them to flow through that remote. And I can show you that when we go to hook back up the backhoe. So at this point, we need to put down the outriggers and we need to lower the bucket to the ground. In order to do that, we have to pull this pin right here. That allows the bucket to be able to be used. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and pull this pin like that. We'll come over here, and you're going to have to take some pressure off using the joysticks here. You're going to pull back just a little bit, and there it loosens up the pin. You can pull it right back out. I usually lay the pin just right here where your feet go. So now you're going to lower this to the ground, just like that. And now you're going to lower your outriggers. So right now we're going to go ahead and pop out the pins. Before we get this leveled perfectly, I'm going to pop out the pins that I showed you earlier. So now that we have the pins off, you are now going to operate this bucket and the downriggers to take the pressure off of the framing of the tractor. And this takes a little bit of trial and error and a little bit of practice, but it's super easy. I mean, the very first time that I did this, I probably had it done within 5 minutes, maybe a little bit more, maybe 6 to 7 minutes. It's not hard, but I am on a very level surface. If you're not on a level surface, this can still be done, but it will take a little bit longer and a little more finesse with your controls. So you're just going to take the pressure off of the framing, specifically right here, where it sits up against the tractor where the drawbar goes. You're going to take the pressure off of that, and then off of the front. And with the outriggers and the bucket right here, you should be able to take the pressure off. Once you've done all that, you want to pull out with your tractor. Now, I typically leave the hydraulic hoses hooked up until I'm able to pull away from the backhoe freely, just in case I have to make a few more adjustments up here. Okay, so I'm just going to put this in low and in gear 1, and I'm going to see if I can move forward with it. And you're going to know if it's unbound or not because the backhoe will move with you. It should stay put. Okay, so the backhoe is moving a little bit, so let me go back over here and take some more pressure off of the framing. The trick is that you want to just slightly lower your outriggers and the backhoe to just take the pressure off of the framing of the tractor. If you go too far, it's too much. If you don't go enough, it's too much for the tractor to pull out. All it'll do is drag it. Now the concrete, you have to be even more precise because it's very slick. So if you don't have this just right, you'll just drag the backhoe. So it is easier if you did this on the ground where there's a lot more friction to hold the backhoe, back. So let's try to pull out and see if we got it just right now. Okay, we're going to edge forward just a little bit. Oh, there you see where we're disconnecting. All right, now I know I'm clear because you kind of seen the backhoe fall forward just a little bit. To get the hydraulics to stop flowing through the backhoe, you need to turn off the auxiliary remote that's in the cab of the tractor. Let me show you. Okay, so we're on this side of the tractor now. This is where the remotes are. And you can see right here in position A, where it's pushed further back, that's in a detented position to hold a hydraulic open, this valve open to allow flow through the backhoe. So I'm going to turn that and put it in the closed position, which is the N, neutral. Now hydraulics should not be flowing through that remote. And in order to tell, and in order to relax the backhoe, to take the pressure off the cylinders, you want to just pull back on the valves, lower that where it needs to be. You want to do the same for the backhoe. You can see I'm taking the pressure off. Now that you've taken pressure off, it should be a lot easier to disconnect your hoses. And there we have it disconnected. See, if you didn't have the pressure off, there'd be too much pressure built up for you to pull that out. And when you let pressure off the outriggers, the framing in the front lowers and sits down against the ground, as you can see over there. Now let me pull away from this tractor so you can see what the backhoe looks like not hooked up. So this is what the backhoe looks like disconnected from the back of the tractor, and I'm going to show you the points of contact of the backhoe to the tractor so you can kind of see what I was talking about earlier. You can see right here where it makes contact to some framing, and you can see right here where it makes contact with some framing. Those pins that you pulled earlier sit right here, and it keeps this from pulling out. And so you can see back here where it falls right into that slot when you go to hook it up, and then you would drop your pins right there. It's much easier to see, obviously, with this unhooked. So now that you see the backhoe with it completely disconnected, I'm going to show you how you would connect this back up. And it's the exact same process, it's just going to be in reverse. Okay, here's a couple things that you need to know before you try to hook up a backhoe. If you have the 3-point hitch attachments here, you need to have these in the up position, like they are here, and you need to lock these to where they are as close as you see here, which is basically as far as you can go with them. Now, if you do that, you'll be able to hook right up into this without any issues. The other thing that you need to be aware of is that you have to use remotes A. The B remote does not have a detent for it to allow constant hydraulic flow like the A remote. So these are the hydraulic remotes you need to use. And you can flip-flop them, however, it doesn't really matter as long as there's flow, constant flow with the detented valve, which is up in the cab. So now that we have that set up, you have to back the tractor up dead center all the way back to where you can hook up the hydraulic remotes. Once you have the hydraulic remotes hooked up, you then have to situate the backhoe using the hydraulics to raise up that front and get it perfectly level to back into to be able to drop those pins in there. So let's do this. So now I'm just going to back up. You just want to center it as much as possible. And you also want to get close enough to hook up the hydraulics. All right, I think that's close enough. Now let me see if I can hook the hydraulic hoses up. Okay, there's one side. Let me hook the other side up. Now that the hydraulic hoses are up, you still notice you have no control. There's nothing that you can do until you allow the flow through the A remote. All right, to allow flow, you have to use the A remote control. And you can see how it stays back in that position. So it's allowing hydraulic flow. So I'm just going to squat down and eyeball it. I think I need to be slightly lower. Now I'm going to get the tractor closer. So when I get it closer, it's going to allow me to see how much more level I need to make this frame to connect into the positions. All right. Okay, so if you look down in here, you can see where this framing needs to go up a little bit in order to slip into that slot. So let's take care of that by using the downriggers. Okay, now let's go check the front to see what we need to do. The front doesn't look too bad, but it needs to come up just a little bit. So to come up, we're going to use this part of the backhoe, which is going to be this one right here. And we're going to see if we can see this thing come up. There we go. Now let's see if we can back right into this backhoe. There we go. You can see the pin almost dropped in place. I was hoping it would, just for a video effect, but there you go, dropped right in. Now let's put the other pin in, and this backhoe is ready to be used. Always double check all of your points of contact of the tractor to make sure that this backhoe is installed correctly. So we've already checked it back here with the pins are installed. We want to check it down here. You can see where that looks good. So now, all we have to do is install the transport pin, which is what you would want to have in place anytime you're in transport, moving the tractor around the farm. Keeps it from the pressure releasing and dropping the backhoe like it's sitting right now. So let me do that. Just pull back on your joystick. Okay, get your pin lined up. You got your pin right here. There you go. Pull your outriggers up. And this backhoe is ready to go. Okay, the backhoe is mounted and it looks great. It wasn't that hard. This is much easier than it used to be back in the day. This used to take a lot more work. I mean, nuts and bolts to connect and disconnect a backhoe. Rural King has made this so easy. 2 pins, getting it leveled with the tractor hydraulics, and then you just pull out or back into it. Just a small few details that you've learned throughout this video will help you along the way if you want a backhoe for your RK tractor. These backhoes on these tractors are worth every penny. I mean, when you need a backhoe on your farm and you don't have one, it's a hassle. But if you need it and you have it, man, is it really nice. And RK has great backhoes. They're some of the best valued backhoes that you can buy. They have excellent tractors. This RK tractor is 55 horse, and we've used it around the farm, and we're continuing to use it. If you've liked this video and you liked this content of how to disconnect and connect a backhoe, like, comment, and subscribe. And we got more tractor videos just like this coming up. We also have an RK55 back here that also has a backhoe, and we will also do a video on that one. It is identical to this one though. So if you have the RK25 and you have a backhoe and you want to know how to disconnect it, you can watch this one. I mean, they are identical. So thank you very much for watching, and thank you to Rural King for these tractors.